Hi, and welcome to the Diamond Report. This is your host, Doug Diamond. Today is Tuesday, October 9th. It's 12:30 p.m. And I'm just going to make a quick video here. Hopefully it won't be too long. I've had a few people ask me if I would explain a few things and give a few updates. It's been probably over a year, well over a year since I did the last Diamond Report. I just don't do them daily. I may go back to doing them, once a month or something. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I wanted to say hello and explain just a few things, some recent information and news that I've learned about and thought I would impart to you. So I've gotten the question lately on Facebook, what are aliens? And just so I don't get too deeply into the weeds on this, I'll just tell you just quickly what I think they are. I think that aliens are not necessarily what they portray themselves as being, and that is beings from another world. I don't believe that. I do think that they do have the technology to travel interdimensionally for sure. Whether or not that's to other planets, I have no idea. Most likely it is, but that doesn't mean they're from another planet or other planets. I personally think that they are fallen angel technology, either fallen angels themselves who are now distorted and less than what they used to be, and still maintain some of the powers, or it could be that they are creations of the fallen angels, which I tend to lean more in that direction, that they are drones and that they are maybe like suits that the fallen angels can inhabit if they wish to. I don't want to go too deeply into this, but I feel like they're not the way they are portrayed. They're not what they say they are. And I don't think that they could travel from planet to planet in our dimension, in the third dimension. I think that they would need to leave this dimension and go to a different one in order to do that. But they probably do have the technology to do that, although I don't think that aliens live on another planet at all. I think that they've lived on our Earth for a long, long time, probably before the advent of humans, probably before Adam and Eve. If you go into the biblical narrative of Genesis 6, it helps explain how the fallen angels fell and why they fell, and even more importantly, or as importantly as Genesis 6, you could take a look at the book of Enoch. It also gets very deeply into that. I think that what we call space aliens today are actually just interdimensional beings. And it'd probably be more accurate to call them extra-dimensionals instead of extraterrestrials. I think that they live on our planet and also in other dimensions within our planet. That's why we hear the stories of flying saucers coming in and out of the oceans. I personally believe that there is such thing as a hollow earth. I do not believe in a flat earth. I think that goes against the very creation that God made for us. And I take that back to, the foundations. Everything is a circle. If you go to the smallest quantum particle, everything's a circle. Why would our earth be flat when everything else is a circle, including other planets? And it's obvious that other planets, at least even the flat earthers, say that other planets are indeed spheres. So if that's the case, why would our earth be any different? I think that the whole flat earth thing really is just a cover-up for the truth. And the truth is hollow earth. And you can look at, there's a really good documentary or two that I've seen about hollow earth, and I'll show you a website that talks about that here in just a minute. But I do think that hollow earth is the real truth, and I think that flat earth is simply just a CIA psyop in order to cover up the truth about hollow earth. That's where the, quote, aliens come and go from. I think that they live in hollow earth, and they also are coming and going from Antarctica. Antarctica is also talked about by the alien conspiracy theorists and I do believe that is a conspiracy theory, that the aliens are, you know, in cities under the ice in Antarctica. I tend to believe that that's probably true, but I don't necessarily think they're aliens. I think that they are beings that are interdimensional, that are, going back to what I said before, that are technology of the fallen, and they are most likely able to come and go from Antarctica and from Hollow Earth, because to me they're one and the same. The way you get to Hollow Earth is going through the hole at the poles that Admiral Byrd talked about, the North Pole and the South Pole. And those are covered up, of course, on Google Earth. You're not going to see it there. But I do think that they're protecting Antarctica, and most likely the South Pole, as far as Antarctica goes. If you look at the Piri-Reis map, you'll see that just a few hundred years ago, even on that map, they're showing Antarctica as being a sort of tropical paradise and further north than it is now. So has the continent shifted? I don't know. It's possible, and it's possible that these beings, which we know are supernatural, to at least to some degree, maybe they created the ice covering that we now know as Antarctica the way it is today. I don't know. Maybe they did that to hide their bases or to hide whatever. Who knows? I'm just completely postulating. This is just some information that I personally believe that I've kind of come across, and a lot of it leads back to the Hollow Earth idea. Now, the website we're looking at here is the gen6.com website. There are three really good documentary films on here, and the True Legends series is what it's called, and Technology of the Fallen is the first film. If you haven't seen these films, definitely recommend watching them. You can rent them for $5 from Vimeo. Definitely watch them. It's well worth it. You can watch the trailer here on the website, gen6.com/films. Technology of the Fallen is the first episode. Episode 2 is the Unholy Sea that gets into the Vatican. And also we talk about, we hear them talk about giants, and we've got an alien here in this actual trailer photo. Again, $5. You can rent that pretty cheaply. And then this is the third installment, episode 3, Holocaust of Giants. I believe they're working on episode 4, and I have no idea when that will be out. I do know Steve and I do know Tim, having traveled with those two guys and others to Peru last year. However, even though I'm involved in production and video editing and audio and mastering and stuff, I'm not involved in the making of the films. I wish I had more information, but I don't. Last I heard is that they're making an episode 4, which my guess is that if they are, it would be out at some point next year. They've been focusing on other things. And this is Tim's website, by the way. He's been working on this book, Tim Alberino, Alien Armageddon. And he's working on it. It's not quite out yet, but I would definitely recommend buying it. I know it'll be great. I'm going to buy it. And he's got his stuff on here about the films and about the conference. The conferences are usually in September. I just went to the one last month that was in Branson, Missouri. That was the second conference. First one was last year, also in Branson. Highly recommend going to those conferences if you want to learn more. And you can peruse the website about that if you want to. Tim Alberino's Alberino Analysis is really, really good as well. And you can find those videos on his website, timothyalberino.com. You can also find them over on Steve's website. If you go to stevequayle.com and scroll down here a little bit, here's the Alberino Analysis. It takes you over to their the YouTube videos. Now, Tim's original YouTube channel got completely shut down and deleted over the course of a night. It just ceased to exist with no strikes at all on it. It just was totally deleted. So that gives you the government seal of approval as to what he's talking about, which means that everything he's saying is spot on. So anyway, I would highly recommend visiting both websites, stevequayle.com, timothyalberino.com, and then of course the gen6.com. That is their joint business that they have together, and they've created the films and the expedition. That's the Peru trip I mentioned that I went on last year. They also have done another one since then. They went to Rome and Sardinia earlier in 2018. And this is the conference that I mentioned. This was the conference that was earlier this year, last month, September 14th, Transhumanism in the Hybrid Age. This isn't really a promo video for everything that they're doing and the books that they're writing and the films they're making. However, I have personally found that they are the most accurate as far as the information that they're putting out. Also, Tom Horn is really great. If you go to skywatchtv.com, his Skywatch TV that's also based in Missouri, and they do excellent work. Derek Gilbert and Sharon Gilbert. Sharon was a speaker at Branson a few weeks ago, and that's his wife. Derek Gilbert and Sharon Gilbert are excellent, and I would highly recommend Skywatch TV just as much as Gen 6. And it's GENSIX.com, in case you weren't picking that up from the URL up here, gen6.com. Now, another person that you could look at as far as their information is a client of mine and also a good friend, Anthony Patch. If you go to anthonypatch.com, you'll see the website that I have built for Anthony, and I talk to him on a daily basis. Anthony is primarily known as a CERN researcher, as well as quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement, and how the blockchain and cryptocurrencies are tied directly into the Mark of the Beast system. So I feel like his research is also something that, if you're really interested in this stuff, you really need to look at, because Anthony is an incredible researcher. He's a super nice guy, and definitely subscribe to his Patreon, either his Patreon campaign or his Entangled magazine, either one. Entangled magazine comes out monthly. This is the current issue, and here's the full cover here. And his radio shows are every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. He has since left Truth Frequency Radio, which is the network he was on. He's moved over to his own setup on Blog Talk Radio. And if you go to his website, you can scroll down here and click right here. Or from any of his other pages, you can actually get to those radio shows from any of the other pages as well, or just by clicking the radio tab. And then here's a link to it too. Fridays from 5 to 7 Eastern. And of course, those shows will be archived. If you click it and go to it now, there's nothing there yet because he hasn't done the first show quite yet. The first show is this Friday, the 12th. So anyways, I wanted to show you that. And if you are a Patreon person who has contributed to him on Patreon, any amount right here, you can access the exclusive member media area that we've set up for Patreon members, for patrons. So patrons are able to see a lot of Anthony's research that is not public, but it's still very important. So I would highly recommend doing that. Anyway, that's my pitch for Anthony there. His research is incredible, so definitely do that if you can. Even just give him $5 a month and you'll have access to this. And one more website we can take a look at here, L.A. Marzulli. L.A.'s website is lamarzulli.net. And L.A. is a good guy. I know him. He was also on the Peru trip, which is where I met him last year, and we have since become friends. And I have actually done some audio mastering and mixing work for him for one of his films since then. So, but LA's primarily known as a ufologist, I guess is how you say it, ufologist. He looks at UFOs and their influence on humanity. The Watchmen Chronicles is really good, by the way. You can get that for $75, which is all these DVDs. But anyway, he is also a researcher from the Christian perspective and believes very much, as do I, that this UFO disclosure will become eventually, and we're probably closer to it than we all think, but UFO disclosure will most likely become the Great Deception, the thing that will lead so many people away from, quote, religion, but more importantly from Christianity, because they're told that aliens created us, when in fact they did not. Aliens are simply either fallen angels or technology of the fallen angels, and the fallen angels did not create us. God the Father did. The God of the Bible did, not these UFO space aliens. They did not. But that's the most likely going to be the story that comes out, is that that aliens created us. It goes back to the whole, if you've ever seen Ancient Aliens on, I think it's the History Channel, that show frustrates me to no end, because I feel like they have, 50 to 75% of what they say is right, but they're, number one, they're not space aliens, and number two, or most importantly, they're not from another planet. They're simply fallen beings who live here on our planet and did not create us. God the Father did. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm coming at from that. Feel free to look at LA's website. He's got lots of good information on there. Also, he has a really good YouTube channel. I didn't pull that up here, but you can find him on YouTube. He puts out stuff every week, so definitely check out LA's work too. And before I forget, let me go back for just a second here on Anthony's website. You can see his logo is this 600-cell tetrahedron, and that goes back to what I was saying before when we were talking about the flat Earth and how everything down to the the quantum mechanics level is round. And you can see that if this is indeed where everything started, this 600-cell tetrahedron that Anthony talks about in great detail, if it started there, why would we have a flat Earth? It just doesn't make sense. Nope, it's a psyop. It's a psyop. It's covering up the truth, and the truth is hollow Earth. Now, has the Earth always been hollow? My guess is probably not. My guess is that the fallen ones knew that the flood was going to happen, the flood of Noah, and that they took it upon themselves, potentially, to hollow out an area and create, again, these are supernatural beings, that they probably did it themselves and tunneled down inside the to the center of the Earth, as it were. I know it sounds far-fetched, but let me bring us over to the Hollow Earth Chronicles. Okay, so here is the Hollow Earth Chronicles, Episode 1, The Dark Chambers. This is by Fourth Watch Films. The guy named Justin Fall was the director of this film. Excellent film. Very, very good. And you can watch the trailer here on their website. Yeah, it's a few bucks to buy it. You can buy the DVD. You can rent it on Vimeo. And I feel like this whole thing, this whole video today is a giant advertisement for other people's work. But look, here's the deal. These people that research this stuff full time have to have some way of being able to pay their bills, right? And compensation for the time and expertise that they have and the time that they've researched this stuff. People like Justin Fall, people like Tim Alberino and Steve Quayle and Anthony Patch. These people have made it their lives to investigate this stuff from a Christian perspective and to put the puzzle pieces together for all of us. So I think it is only fair to support what they're doing and paying for their films or their books or their subscriptions or whatever it is. To me, it's the only fair thing to do. Like I could ask for stuff for free and maybe even get stuff for free from some of these people, but because I know them. But I never would. I just go to their store like everyone else and buy it, just like I personally believe you should. So if you're really interested in this stuff, definitely check out all the websites that I've mentioned. This video is going on a little too long, so I'm going to end it here, but I just wanted to put a few dots here that hopefully you can connect yourself. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me either through my Facebook page, which is the diamond.report, which takes you to my Facebook page, the diamond.report. You can also email me. You can email me through my lostartsradio.com website if you want to, through that email address, doug@lostartsradio.com, and I will write you back. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.